الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله القائم على كل نفس بما كسبت المحصي عليها كل ما اجترحت القائل في كتابه الكريم وأن ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى وأن سعيه سوف يرى ثم يجزاه الجزاء الأوفى وأن إلى ربك المنتهى وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون اللهم إنا نبرأ من الثقة إلا بك ومن التوكل إلا عليك ومن الأمل إلا فيك ومن التسليم إلا لك ومن التفويض إلا إليك ومن الصبر إلا بك ومن الرضا إلا عنك فلا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا ولا إلى غيرك طرفة عين يا أكرم الأكرمين ثم أما بعد. The last khutbah we reflected on the next episode in Surah Al-Ma'idah. That is the story of Qabil and Habil, which has literally the first crime that was committed on earth, with Qabil killing his brother Habil. Last week we identified what the disease was. The disease was al-hasad. The disease was jealousy, basically. We looked at the first two verses of this story and how the Quran tells us it's وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ بْنَيْ آدَمَ بِالْحَقِّ. Tell them or recite to them the story of the two sons of Adam bil-haqq. And we mentioned what al-haqq means. That is to say, it still happens. This is not like a story of the past that was like a myth or something. It's a reality that still happens till today. But then the surah moves to tell us how Qabil ended up killing his brother. And the Quran uses a very interesting word. It says فَطَوَّعَتْ لَهُ نَفْسُهُ قَتْلَ أَخِيهِ فَقَتَلَهُ. This verb طَوَّعَ is a really important word in this verse. طَوَّعَ is to make something easy. طَوَّعَ is to make something easy. Something that is so difficult, when you simplify it, it becomes so easy. So Allah is telling us that Qabil's own ego, Qabil's own self, made it easy for him to kill his own brother. فَطَوَّعَتْ لَهُ نَفْسُهُ. So his own self, his own ego made it easy for him to kill his own brother. فَقَتَلَهُ. So he ended up killing his brother. For the Quran to use this verse, to use this verb, it means something. Because when we come to commit a sin, it never begins with a big thing. It begins with a very small thing. When we come to commit a sin, it begins really with a very small thing. So it begins with this whole murder thing, this whole killing, a brother killing his own immediate brother. What does it take? It all began with a bit of jealousy. That's how it begins. When you don't detect this origin of it, it can exacerbate. It can lead to other things. So it began with a little bit of jealousy. But this jealousy, because he did not address it, he left this jealousy unaddressed. So what happened after that? This jealousy turned into resentment. This resentment turned into anger. And this anger turned into justification. He is now justifying that for himself. How could he be accepted? How could his qurban be accepted and mine is rejected? So he's justifying that for himself. And then ends up with him killing his own brother. One of the worst crimes on earth. A brother killing his own brother. So it's a process. It's never something that had happened like in a blink of an eye. No, it progressed. A feeling of jealousy. The beginning of it is jealousy. That's why, Quran commentators often say that the key disease in this story is the one of hasad. Why? Because it began with hasad. a bit of jealousy. He left this jealousy without addressing this jealousy. He did not treat this jealousy. This jealousy turned into anger. The anger turned into justification, and the justification led to him killing his brother. He thought, I am justified in what I do. It did not begin with anger, it began with jealousy. And that's literally why the Prophet ﷺ used a very exact word. When he said, we looked at this last week already, دَبَّ إِلَيْكُمْ دَاءُ الْأُمَمِ قَبْلَكُمْ. He uses this verb, دَبَّ إِلَيْكُمْ دَاءُ الْأُمَمِ قَبْلَكُمْ. The disease of the past, of the generations of the past, of the nations of the past. That means it was very common amongst people. It's the disease of nations, not just individuals. It's very contagious. It's like a adwa, it's like literally a contagion that really goes everywhere. So the Prophet uses this verb, dabba. And dabba means it goes very slowly. You don't even notice it. It goes very quietly, without being noticed. That's the word what dabba means. It crawls into you. It creeps into you. He did not say it attacks you. He did not say it crushes you or something. He uses this verb, dabba ilaykum. It really goes very slowly. If you don't detect it, you only discover when it becomes so big. Dabba ilaykum da'ul umam qablakum. The disease of the nations that were before you has come to you. And then he identified what it is. He says, al-hasad wal-baghda. And remember, this hadith was the very first khutbah the Prophet gave when he came to Medina. أول خطبة خطبها رسول الله بالمدينة كانت هذه. The first ever khutbah he gave in Medina was on this. Why does he talk about this? Because it's the place where now Medina has a multiplicity of communities, people coming from different places, from different communities, from different backgrounds. They will end up looking at each other, comparing themselves to each other. Why do you have this? Why do I have that? So it's bound to happen. So the Prophet is addressing the problem before it happens. So the first hadith he talks about is this hadith. دَبَّ إِلَيْكُمْ دَاءُ الْأُمَمِ قَبْلَكُمْ. It's the disease of the past generations that has come to you. It's jealousy and hatred. Then he says, this is how serious this is. He says, هِيَ الْحَالِقَةِ. These, it's like razors, it's like shavers. You know how a razor is used today? He says, it erases your deen. He says, لا أقول تحلق الشعر ولكن تحلق الدين. It raises and erases your deen. It takes away your honesty. It takes away your transparency. It takes away your iman. It takes away your taqwa. It takes everything, like bit by bit. And the strangest thing about this disease of al-hasad is, subhanAllah, like we may be able to admit so many weaknesses that we have. You could say, you know what, I have anger issues. I have commitment issues. I have punctuality issues. You could say I have even pride issues. Sometimes we feel honest enough to address this and to say publicly, I think I have these issues. I need to work on these issues. But you will never you barely come across someone who would say, you know, I have jealousy issues. This is how subtle this is. This is how interesting this is. Because it says, jealousy literally means you asking Allah, you questioning Allah. Why did you give this person that? Why did you give that person that and not me? Nobody would say I'm jealous. You know, we say it jokingly, but in reality, it's probably one of the most dangerous unadmitted sins. Right? And then the Prophet ﷺ tells us, هي الحسد والبغضاء. It doesn't shave your hair, it shaves your deen entirely. The surah takes us after that. فبعث الله غرابا يبحث في الأرض ليريه كيف يواري سوءة أخيه. Allah sent a very little bird to show him how to bury his own brother. قال يا ويلتى أعجزت أن أكون مثل هذا الغراب. Shame on me. I can't even bury my own brother like this very little bird. And Allah tells us, فَأَصْبَحَ مِنَ النَّادِمِينَ. He thought by killing my brother I'd be fine. I get what I want. But actually it became worse. Allah tells us, فَأَصْبَحَ مِنَ النَّادِمِينَ. He became very regretful. فَأَصْبَحَ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. He became one of the losers. That means jealousy really made things worse. because he did not address it in the very beginning. That's how serious this is, and how humiliating it is as well. He's not even as good as a little bird. That's what jealousy leads us to. It damages you, it doesn't help you. But the Prophet ﷺ gave us a good treatment. At the end of this hadith, he ﷺ says, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ إِنَّكُمْ لَن تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ حَتَّى تُؤْمِنُوا. By Allah, you won't get into heaven, you won't get into paradise before you truly believe. وَإِنَّكُمْ لَن تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَحَابُّوا. But you won't really be admitted, you won't really be true believers until you love each other. And then he says, أَلَا أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى شَيْءٍ إِذَا فَعَلْتُمُوهُ تَحَابَبْتُمْ. Shall I tell you of something? If you do, it will help you become good to each other. It will help you love each other. What is it? He said, مَا هُوَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. What is it? He said, أُفْشُوا السَّلَامَ بَيْنَكُمْ. Spread peace amongst each other. And the word peace, the word salam, is not just a word, it's actually a feeling. But the word really expresses this feeling. So the Prophet ﷺ has given us this prophetic treatment. But we need to ask ourselves an honest question. Is there someone in my life that I feel uncomfortable with? Is there someone in my life that I often compare myself to? Is there someone in my life that I really have this feeling of hatred and antagonism towards? But I leave it unaddressed. And use the prophetic treatment to treat this. Speak to this person. Give salams to this person. Even praise this person. That will help you address the problem of and the disease of jealousy. The disease of al-hasad. Al-hasad is so dangerous. It's literally like cancer today. When you think of cancer, it's often taken as the most dangerous disease that destroys human beings. Why is that? Because we often detect it very late. Hasad is just like that. Hasad is literally like that. It's everywhere, but you don't really know where to detect it, how to detect it. And often when you detect it, it's quite late. That's why the Prophet ﷺ is saying, address it in the very beginning, before it really goes and becomes worse. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين وأقم الصلاة